Greetings and salutations, everyone. It's time for another episode of Viewport Relay, a bi-weekly podcast where the Viewport team looks at the latest news in the gaming industry. As always, I'm your host, Albert Corsten, joined by Tristan Jung.
Hello.
And Alex Nestor.
Hey.
It's been a little bit. It's been, about a month, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a number of weeks.
But we're back. We're viewporting. I'm turning that into a verb, by the way. We're viewporting and we're relaying. How was the time off? We were all in Japan. How did it go? I don't know why I can't answer that, but I'm asking you.
You're really good at this episode. No, we've had a good time. We got to eat some good cheap food in Japan. Some of that sushi, some of that chicken sashimi, some of that.
Wait, what? I didn't have that.
I had that. Some of that cow heart. And
we had that.
I gained some weight, so I'm trying to lose it right now. But
that's what I'm doing right now too.
In general, it was a lot of fun, a lot of good time off, and now I'm back. I guess we're all back.
Yeah,
we're all back.
One
of us didn't make it. They got lost. Alex almost got lost.
They expected one of us in the wreckage, so
oh, okay.
We had to make sacrifices.
All right, but we're back. It's time to talk. We got a new opening, guys. I had a little thought. We've had fast favorites, but now we're moving into a new realm called melancholy memories.
Wow.
All right? So it's melancholy. We got a little bit of the good with a little bit of the bad. Okay? So this episode's topic is give me your most favorite game sequel and your least favorite or worst sequel you have ever played. And we'll start with Alex Nestor.
Okay. So I can think of the worst sequel much faster than the best. The worst definitely has to be Deus Ex Invisible War. And it's not so much it was terrible, but it was just much worse than the first game, which is fantastic in all regards.
See, that one's hard, right? Because it set a high bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a good game very much either, but...
Yeah. Invisible War is just incredibly mediocre. And yeah, it just didn't really hit any of the good story spots or anything that the first one really did, so... That's why it has to be my least favorite. About you, Tristan... What do you got?
I was gonna say, do you want to roll through all the bad ones first?
All the bad?
Well, as in like Tristan go and then.
Mm-hmm. We can do what you want. Just keep listing.
All right, Tristan, keep listing.
I got one. I put down Perfect Dark Zero.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that game existed.
That was like a launch title for 360.
Oh, okay.
I played Perfect Dark so much when I was a kid with my friends. It was the center of all of our overnight parties. And once Perfect Dark Zero was announced, we were super hyped. Cause, one of us got a 360. It wasn't me. So we all went over to his house and turned it on. And oh boy, that disappointment is something you'll never forget.
Yeah. And I feel like bouncing off that, and it's almost like Rare in general in the 360 era, because they also had the other known sequel, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Mm-hmm. Oh no,
that's definitely another ouch right there.
Tristan, I thought you were gonna say Fallout 76 when I made this topic, but that was too easy.
Well, that was technically a prequel, right?
Well, okay. Well, I don't mean like in terms of when it takes place. Just like
chronological release.
In Earth years.
Okay.
As opposed to Mars years.
Dog years?
There we go. Alright, mine, it's soul crushing, this game. You know how bad this game was?
Oh, okay.
Is that the next game that came out was a mobile game.
Oh.
And this game is Command & Conquer 4 Tiberium Twilight. Probably the worst sequel made ever of mankind. it took everything that the series was. They're like, hey guys, you like building bases and big armies? Well, we're taking that away because this was a time I think that MOBAs were getting popular and like tactical strategy games. Mm-hmm. That they were like, nope, we're not an RTS anymore. We're a tactical strategy game. And then everyone hated it. Mm-hmm. And then we got Command & Conquer Rivals, like 8 years later.
Which, if we do this segment again in 2 years, will show up in the best sequel in a series.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm in all
tuned.
the betas. I'm in all the betas. Not really. Don't take that seriously, please. All right. We're going to go reverse order. I'll start with my favorite, and then we'll work our way back to Tristan and Alex. Best game, Tristan, you almost had it. Best sequel, sorry, not best game.
Best
Advanced
game ever.
Wars Dual Strike. All right? This is the best video game ever made. That's all I need to say about it.
All right, and podcast.
And video games. Just
and
stop trying.
Games.
Stop trying to make games. All right, Tristan.
I put down Portal 2. It took a very airtight formula. Portal 1, it wasn't perfect, but it was very good. They added co-op, they added really good story, really good maps. I believe it still has I guess Portal 1 had a custom editor too. But in general, I thought it really took what the original did well and built on it in an excellent way.
The writing is so good in the Portal games.
Mm-hmm.
And messing with your friends is so good and
griefing them endlessly.
All right, Alex, we'll finish off with you. What is your favorite sequel of all time?
You know what? I think I'll mention Battlefield 2. It took basically the first game and kind of Vietnam as well, but then they just really modernized the game. It had 1 billion maps, a lot of gadgets and weapons. There was just so much to like about the game.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, it was like DICE's wonder years, really. They were just... Even 2142 was fantastic. Although I consider
you gotta choose one, man. It's 2 or 2142.
I know, it's hard. I think I'll have to give the edge to 2, just because 2142 was always kind of like a mod in my eyes. A paid one. That makes
same
sense.
engine, right? Same engine, and they just kind of...
Same general gameplay, just, future tech. But, they're both fantastic. But 2 is definitely just... I feel it changed up shooter games quite a bit, for mil sims anyways.
I like it. I like good selections by us all, I think.
I got an honorable mention.
You got an honorable mention. For
Give
worst or for a best?
For best.
Okay.
Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Yeah.
Just keeping in theme with our conversation today.
Mm-hmm.
We've been gone, guys, so there's been some hubbub, like new video juegos coming out into the fray, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah, lots of information came out.
But we're going to be talking about 2. First one, obviously not announced, but, well, we knew it's coming from last year's poor E3 announcement. But we got Jedi Fallen Order. Finally got a trailer for it and some details. So, alright, so we got a trailer. No gameplay, unfortunately, but we do have some description that it will have, quote, boss battles, and based on its description, it's definitely more of an action-focused game as opposed to an RPG-focused game. So, those of you that wanted more KOTOR type game, unfortunately, this isn't going to be it. And I don't know. Personally speaking, there's been Star Wars games both ways, both actiony and RPG. And on the actiony side, I'm more thinking like Force Unleashed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think that it was the right decision to go more actiony, or do you think that they probably should have stuck more to RPG? Because that's maybe where a lot of people sort of played their... Well, I guess I'm thinking more old generation, but played their first Star Wars game with Knights of the Old Republic.
I think action's pretty hot right now, and let's face it, everybody wants to be a Jedi. Just go around slicing things up and using force powers. And I've been hearing some rumors. I know it's the meme, but they've been saying it's kind of maybe fashioned after Dark Souls, so you might see a bit of gameplay like that, and, everybody loves it, so I don't blame them if they want to go that direction.
Oh man, I did not hear those rumors. Now I'm more
I didn't hear
disappointed.
about that either.
I've been reading some of the rumor mill, and yeah, it's coming out already. The Dark Souls of Star Wars.
Are you disappointed? You sound disappointed with that.
I am disappointed. I was actually hoping it'd be more of a first-person type of ordeal with lightsabers and blasters and all that. Because, reading the interview about... I guess they said they drew inspiration from Metroid and Zelda, which is not first-person, but I was hoping it was, because... I don't know, I find third-person Star Wars games to be a little bit clunky, and maybe it's just reminding me of Battlefront too much right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if it's Dark
I think that
Souls,
third person is the right way to go, though. I feel that with, like, lightsabers and, like, force powers, and with, like, force jump, like, being able to jump really high. I mean, it's not that weird in first person, but I think of the game with the most force powers, and that was Jedi Knight Academy.
Yep.
And that one was third person. And I think it worked well in third person. But obviously that was a long time ago. Tech has changed. Yada yada. Dark Souls is a thing.
Yeah, and this is also Respawn, which aren't generally known for their, like, action-type games. So it's pretty interesting that they're taking on this type of gameplay.
I mean, there's, like, Titanfall.
Yeah, with more shooter-focused. But this is going to be, like, lightsabers and Jedi, so... it's quite a change. We'll see how they handle it.
I have a weird question. It's more of like a gut check, but like with Apex Legends being a huge success and the Titanfall franchise having good success, it's like this weird, right? This EA and Star Wars titles and then Respawn, but they have a good track record. What do you think is going to be the result of this? If you could guess a Metacritic score for this game, where would you put it? Like 70s, 80s, 90s? I mean, we don't know too much about it at all, so it's obviously a very wild guess, but what do you think?
I'm expecting low to mid 80s. Like, 81 to 83 range.
Oh man, I was thinking 82. So, basically in that same ballpark.
Yep.
So essentially you're thinking that this is going to be the best Star Wars game to release in like the past decade. Because I don't think there's been a Star Wars game that got above an 82 in the past decade.
Lego?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't really count that, though.
Really, I guess it depends how much we perceive EA's involvement in the overall design process of this game.
Which, with Apex Legends, it sounds like it was pretty low, EA's involvement in the development.
So, I don't know, maybe Respawn's getting this kind of, like, special treatment by EA, where they're kind of, hey, you're doing okay, we'll let you do your own thing.
Yeah.
Which, hopefully they are, because it seems to be anything they touch is turning out a little sour.
Wah.
But that could change.
It could. It could. Do you know what did change, though?
What did?
The hearts and minds of Nintendo Switch fans when they found out that Persona 5 wasn't coming to Switch. But what is coming is a new game. Persona 5 Scramble, which is essentially a Dynasty Warriors type game set in the Persona world.
Yep. I heard that on the trailer and I was immediately sold. I'm ready for it.
Of all of the Persona spin-off games, we've had a dancing game, which is... How long have they been making those? Do you guys know when the first dancing game came out?
The first dancing game...
It was a Vita title, so...
It was Vita. Well, I mean, in Japan, the second versions also came on Vita.
Okay. So fairly older. Well, not too old, but, like over 5 years now.
I guess the technical sequels came out last year, and then the first ones came out, like, 3 years ago, maybe.
Okay. Is this a weird take to, like, take in for you? Like, a warrior-style game in Persona? Or, like... After we saw Zelda, like, Hyrule Warriors, we're like, nope, this isn't weird at all.
Well, yeah, they've done, Fire Emblem Warriors, Hyrule Warriors. One Piece also has a Musou game series, so, why not just do Persona? And I think it looks really cool, honestly. I just love the graphical style that Persona 5 presents, and, yeah, I think it translates well to a Musou game.
Tristan, as someone who played an inordinate amount of Hyrule Warriors, will you be getting this game with Persona?
I will definitely get this game, and you know it.
Will you get it on Switch?
Wait, is it coming out on... Oh, it's coming out on PS4. Of course I'll get it on Switch. That's, I'll just make it my, Dynasty Warriors machine.
Your Muso platform?
Yeah. Picross and Muso platform. Those are the...
And Smash Bros.
And Smash Brothers.
The end game of Switch.
No, but I'm really excited about this. Like, I think I'm neutral because I was very disappointed Persona 5 wasn't coming on Switch, but I was really excited about this game. But in general, I'm happy to get something brand new. It's the same team as that did the Fire Emblem and the Zelda one, so I can only expect something really good out of them. I just want to see how they incorporate the Persona 5 features into it.
Yeah, I was going to ask. That was a question. What sort of gameplay elements or I don't know, obviously we're going to see a lot of characters because Hyrule Warriors, I think, had every single Zelda character to ever exist in history, but...
No, it wasn't Endgame or Infinity War.
Dude, it had a lot of weird characters on that we hadn't seen for years in games.
So in the Legend of Zelda one, the kind of the gimmick was for every boss you had to find the right item to use against them, like a bomb or a boomerang or a grapple hook or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then the Fire Emblem one, the gimmick is the whole triangle thing, right? Swords beat axe, or was it the other way? And whatever beats archers. Yep. I'm assuming Persona will be like SMT or like Pokemon, where you just have elements.
Yeah, that's very likely because not Warriors of Orochi, but I think Dynasty Warriors 8 had that kind of elemental system. They'll probably incorporate something like that. And maybe Joker will be able to have some list of fusion monsters, perhaps.
Yep.
That'd be cool.
I think that's what I foresee happening.
Maybe Human Morgana will show up.
Yeah, I'm curious if it's going to stick to only P5, or if we're possibly going to see, P4 Pro Tag, P3 maybe.
That's the DLC, man.
Yeah, it'll most likely be DLC, or the ultimate version of the game that they always release.
Because Hyrule Warriors, the Wii U one, had the DLC, right?
Hyrule Warriors had so much DLC. Fire Emblem Warriors has so much DLC.
There you go.
I got them all.
Yeah, it's pretty standard.
Did the definitive edition on the Switch come with all of them, though, right? All the DLC.
Yeah, the Zelda one came with everything, but the Fire Emblem one you had to buy separately.
Oh, okay. Oh, because that game specifically came out for Switch, right?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. And Tristan, you just brought up no Persona 5, at least that we know of. First of all, I still think it's probably coming. I think it's going to be a Nintendo E3 announcement. But SMT5 is coming out. I completely forgot about that game coming out for Switch.
Yeah, that one's flying under the radar.
They announced it at the Switch reveal, which was over 2 years ago, and we haven't heard a peep out of that one, so.
It'll come when it's ready.
When it's ready.
Right, I mean, that's a game that I'm not, actually looking forward to.
SMT?
Because I know how painful it's gonna be. So when it's ready, it's ready.
It's definitely known to be a lot more difficult than the Persona series, and it definitely doesn't have as big of a following as Persona. So it makes sense that they probably don't focus as much on advertising for it.
Yeah. But I feel like it's going to be pretty big.
People loved SMT4, and they'll pick it up for Switch, definitely.
Alrighty, we're going to move from video games into video game consoles. We got
Soulja Boy. Is he back?
No, he's in jail.
Okay.
No, so we got first of all, we have PS5 news. Everyone's wondering, right? We've talked about this podcast for the past year. When are they coming out? What's going to happen? So I'm going to go over some quick features that they revealed for the PS5. So it'll be 8K support. Holy moly. And ray tracing.
Are 8K displays even... Do they even exist?
Not even a thing right now.
Okay, great.
Which begs me, how strong of a GPU are they putting in that thing? And then, huge news, I think. PS4 backwards compatible. I think
that is huge.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you guys think about if they were to enable 60 FPS support on PS4 backwards compatible titles?
It would be incredible, but I don't think it'll happen.
Would that even work? Like, if some games have physics...
I imagine most of them are tied to their FPS.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it might need to be like an update, right, that a dev would have to put in later on or something like that.
Yeah, and I don't know if devs will really put in the time for something like that when they don't get any extra money from it.
World, man. Just,
Why settle at 60 FPS when you can get unlimited FPS?
144.
144. Hey, you heard Google with their Stadia. They're going for 8K, 144 FPS.
Hey, man, 144? That's 2018. 165. That's where it's at.
My roommate has the Alienware 240 hertz refresh rate monitor.
Why?
And the only game he can run with it is CSGO because it has very low requirements.
Nice. I did find it that one of the other things they announced as like a big feature was that it's going to have an SSD by default.
Yes, I was going to bring that up next, and holy moly, guys.
We're here, 2019.
Yeah, 2019, and we're just now getting SSD by default.
Here's the question, how big is the SSD going to be?
Yeah, they don't say the size.
Is it going to be like 250 gigs? Like, what are they going on this thing?
No, it can't be that small.
500?
That's like one game nowadays.
I feel like it would be 500.
No, it has to be more than 500.
500 would be like the budget model.
How much is this thing going to cost? That's my question. What is this thing going to cost, right? If it's doing if it's doing ray tracing, if it's doing ray tracing and 8K support, it has SSDs. Like, there's no way this thing can be cheaper than at least a Switch, right? It's going to be more than $300.
No, this thing's coming out in 2030. When
everything's obsolete.
When we have 8K finally.
No, I think, I mean, I get your point, but I feel like the SSD will be the cheaper point. SSDs are much cheaper now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's not the worry.
I honestly don't know what 8K means.
I'm going to guess that this console's going to cost $450. That's weird, though. I think a 50 is a weird thing to put in a price. I don't think it can be...
You put it there.
Yeah, I don't think a console's ever launched at a full $100 amount.
I think we released at $250.
Wasn't we 200?
No, Wii was not 200.
Oh, it was 250. Okay.
Yeah.
And it had Wii Sports. Oh boy. What a value.
The 3DS was also
family favorite game.
250 or something.
All right, Nintendo likes doing the 50s. What do you guys, if this console was $500, do you think it would be popular?
Yeah.
Depends what games come out.
Yeah, it really depends what they're gonna say is on the launch.
That's true.
I mean, if the games are not good, the only reason I would buy one is if for some reason I had an 8K display and I want to play my PS4 games.
Or maybe you had some 8K movies.
What if Final Fantasy VII Remake launches as a launch title for this console?
You're very optimistic.
If it did,
you think Final Fantasy VII's coming out?
It already came out, Tristan.
It did come out, to their credit.
Yeah, but random last note, not launching in 2019. I don't think many people were predicting.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was expecting that, so...
I'm anticipating a holiday 2020 release date on this thing.
What I'm more excited about is if I don't know if PlayStation Now is local to PS4, but assuming it can run PS4 games, I'm assuming PlayStation Now will be there. So you'll have access to basically all games between PS2 to PS5 on one console.
That'd be cool. If only, Nintendo could learn how to put games other than NES games on their console.
2019, we can only emulate SNES games.
But you did it in 2016. Shh, those were different times.
How about some like N64, huh? Yeah. GameCube?
I'll take SNES games on my freaking
on your Switch.
Yeah, I want to play Super Mario World on my Switch. That'd be so much fun.
Honestly, I'm surprised GameCube hasn't been emulated yet. for the platform.
Hey, you go
Technology
to Best
isn't
Buy,
there.
they're still selling Super Smash
Yeah.
Bros. Melee for $50.
I need to buy Melee for $50.
They still, it hasn't dropped in value, okay?
No.
They can't emulate it yet.
Gold wishes it were this good.
Exactly. Last question I've got for you guys. Well, first of all, we talked about price point. What price point do you think they should target?
500 or less?
500 or less?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think going above 500, you're going to start being a hard sell.
Yeah. I think it, I don't want to say this because they're gonna prove me wrong, but I feel like it has to be more expensive than the PS4. Right?
But less expensive than the
almost.
PS3?
Yeah.
But
Well,
well, that gives you like
PS3 was a special
$200,
case.
right? But it'll be interesting to see. Is there any like features that you would like them to add? I mean, this is not really a PS5 thing, but PSN you can finally change your ID. Finally.
Wow. How about Microsoft? What's their thing called? Game Pass support. Then you don't even need an Xbox anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Just
No.
subscribe
Wait, you don't
to
even need
Sony.
Xbox? Oh, put Xbox Game Pass on PS?
On PS4, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like they're doing with the Switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're putting Xbox Live on the Switch. They're not putting their games, right? They're putting Xbox Live on Switch. I think, right? That's what I read a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I thought they were putting Game Pass.
No, they're not putting
Yeah.
Game Pass.
I was so confused.
Play Gears of War on your Switch. Anywho, Alex, is there anything that you want?
Nah, just good games mainly.
How about what do you want in DualShock 5? I think that's the better question.
Mine's not a DualShock 5, but I want to see. I'm a convert, guys. I'm a VR convert. I like VR so much now. I want to see a new PSVR, like a better system. But we'll go back to the DualShock. Anything with the controller, or do you think they should not touch that at all?
Overall, I'm fine with the design. The size is good. Mainly, I just want it to feel a bit more sturdy. I always thought that DualShock 3 and DualShock 4, they felt kind of flimsy and in my hands. Maybe I'm just a tight grip.
Maybe you're just really strong.
superhuman
I was like,
strength.
I don't think I've ever bent my controller and been
And then,
like, oops.
I don't know if it's like an exclusive problem for me, but the cable connection for like charging and physically plugging it in, it isn't very snug. So
Yeah, it's a little
That's
little
also an
wobbly.
issue.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I think they'll move to USB-C. You think that?
Did you get Gen 1 DualShock 4?
I don't know what gen I have. How many gens are there in DualShock 4?
I think there's 2 gens, one with the light bar on the back and one with the light bar on the touchpad.
Okay, mine's on the touchpad.
I see.
What do you have, Tristan?
I have the Gen 1.
Okay, because on mine the cable's not wobbly at all, and I have the new one. I have the one with it on the back. Like it snugs in. It clicks in
It's
pretty
a
much.
tight fit.
It's a tight fit, you know.
Maybe Alex
but
just had
is
way
it
too
moving
much
to
fun with
USB-C?
his
Do you think?
Mhm.
Do you think it's going to charge with USB-C, or is it going to stick with micro USB?
wireless charging.
Yeah, they're gonna have a wireless docking station.
I mean,
Really?
this-
You guys think that?
Hey, 8K.
It's the
This is when
future.
8K is
Yeah.
available.
But then I can't play the game if it's charging on the console.
No, you just put the wireless pad on your lap. And then,
Oh man,
Oh, it comes with a whole detachable pad?
is the touchpad gonna be a screen? Are you gonna be able to take your
Oh.
DualShock and play games on it?
Oh my god.
It's the Wii U.
Yeah,
But with a
the Wii U
2-inch
slash
display.
Switch.
How much would that cost if they were to build a screen into the controller?
$599 US.
Yeah.
The control.
How much was the gamepad for the Wii U?
You couldn't buy them separately. You couldn't
Oh,
buy.
nice.
Well,
Hmm.
you probably could if you talked to support, but
Just
I
buy
don't
a
know.
new Wii U.
Easy.
I mean, as long as it's not freaking more expensive. Dude, Joy-Cons are so expensive. $80 for a pair. Ugh.
Yeah, that's why I just don't play my Switch on the go.
Other than Picross.
Yeah, other than that one. That one you're not going to break your controller playing.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. All right, we will move on to some quick other hardware. We got Nintendo saying no intention to reveal new hardware at E3. Supposing there's rumors, obviously, I think we talked about before we left that, or like we went on vacation, that there's a cheaper Switch model coming out and a more expensive one, and that the cheaper one was going to come out sometime this year, and the more expensive one was going to come out probably sometime next year.
Yeah, I heard rumors of June earlier this week, which is kind of E3 time, so I don't know what's going on.
I looked it up. I couldn't find exactly which one, but there was an announcement specifically by Nintendo that said they wouldn't announce new hardware at E3, which was true. And then 1 week after E3, they announced a new DS model. So,
all right, they're playing that game. Huh?
I don't know why they wouldn't. I don't know if they're like just want to be purely focused on software, but what's Nintendo's play here? Why wouldn't they announce new hardware at E3? Or here's the other question: is there just not new hardware coming out this year?
Aww.
I don't know. I think they'll give us something. But E3, don't they always say, "Oh, we're all about the game"? Well, I guess they all say that, but
EA especially.
Game, but new IP is the life.
Maybe Nintendo takes it a little more seriously and literally.
What if it's Bowser's plot and he's gonna just drop a new console on the Direct?
Mm-hmm. The Nintendo Witch.
Like Sandwich or like Evil Witch?
Oh man,
no, I like the Sandwich better.
Yeah, I do. Okay. I like the idea of that one. I want to see more of the prototypes.
You can fold it in half and
eat
folds, it. And eat, and then you just buy a new one. It's genius. Wow, Nintendo, why did they think
perfectly portable?
You're having trouble selling consoles, just let your users eat their old one, and then they have to buy a new one.
I think there was a thing in the article that said they probably don't want to announce this so they don't, hurt their sales for a couple months. Which makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now you say that makes a lot of sense. So I'm thinking, if that's the case, I'm thinking announcement during their fall direct and release probably in the holidays.
I just want a shadow drop. They're like, it's available 1 hour ago. And I was like, holy shit.
They're sold out already. They're
riots to get out of the theater.
So there are rumors that it's going to be like a 2DS. Mm-hmm. Where it's like the Joy-Cons are attached to the console. Mm-hmm. And if you want to play it like separately, you just need to, like, you can still dock it.
But you use the same dock.
Yeah, exactly. But you need a separate controller if you want to play it docked. So
that's how I play mine, so it doesn't matter.
What?
That's how I use mine, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, you just you just keep the controllers, but it wouldn't come with detachable controllers, so you'd have to buy them separately.
I see.
So, like, the model would be cheaper, but if you want to play it docked, you'd have to buy separate.
And if you break your controller, you're just kind of screwed.
Like, on the machine?
Yeah.
I guess you could say that about any console, though, with your 3DS. If you break the controllers in the 3DS, you have to get a new one. Alright, one last thing I wanted to bring up, just while we're talking about consoles, is I want to get your guys' opinion on whether it's, like, interesting or cool or any insights on, just based on the three directions that the three big console manufacturers are going. So 10 years ago in our last console generation, right? We had Xbox 360 versus PS3 versus Nintendo Wii, and it was heart of the console wars, right? And then now we kind of have Microsoft going, I mean, they're still going physical console, but they're going like, oh, we want to push digital and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then Sony's like, nope, bread and butter, we're sticking to traditional gaming consoles. And then Nintendo's kind of like, we've always done well with portable, so let's focus more on portable. Like, not as powerful, but more portable. What do you guys think about kind of how they've diverged in sort of, I don't know if it's their business strategy or sort of their train of thought and like their vision of gaming in the future, but you guys have any thoughts?
Nah, next topic. No.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
Move on.
I think I wrote something similar to this a couple of years ago. I think Sony took a weird pivot, whereas I feel Microsoft and Nintendo are kind of going for the same thing, where Microsoft and Nintendo have this mantra of play anywhere, right? So you can play on your computer, you can play on your Xbox, you can hopefully play wherever else they want to put Game Pass. And then Nintendo...
Can I play it on my fridge?
You can play it on your fridge, your Samsung smart fridge. And then Nintendo took the hardware approach of you can just take the thing and play it with, wherever you want to take it. Whereas Sony, it sounds like they want to go more towards like the PC route with the PS5. It sounds like they want like this whole holistic library type of feeling where you have one device that has like a whole catalog of things you want to play.
So like kind of Netflix and Spotify are doing with music and like TV, right?
Right. And whereas Sony before had a similar mindset with their Vita, where you can play it remotely, you can play your PS4 games on your Vita, but it seems like they're kind of pivoting away from that now.
You can play your PS4 games on your phone now, right? You can stream games to your phone, right? That was the thing that got added.
Yeah, that's how I was going to play Final Fantasy 14 at work.
All right, yeah.
Tristan's like, let me put that down on my to-do list really quick here.
Yeah, that's how I'm kind of seeing things right now.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good take. All right, this next one, we've got talk. I mean, there's always talk of unions and whatnot in the video game industry.
Man, I should have counted every time we brought up unions on this podcast. I'm sure that would have been like at least 15.
I feel like that really hit towards the latter half of 2018. I mean, it's been in the conversation for years now about crunch, right? But we got another crunch story. And this one's a little more interesting because, well, let me describe the story. So essentially, after Fortnite's huge success, essentially at Epic, they needed to keep the momentum going, which led to months of intense crunch. And I just wanted to, I don't know if it ever crossed you guys, but did you guys ever think of, when I think of crunch for video game, right, and all the stories you've heard, it's the deadline's coming up, we gotta finish the game. But there's this whole new crunch when it comes to ongoing service games, right, that I never thought of. Did you guys ever like kind of notice this or ever even think about this?
I've considered it a little bit because I've played other I guess free to start. I don't know what you want to call them, free to play games, like World of Warships. Where they gotta keep that revenue stream coming somehow. So you gotta keep creating new ships in that case, or in terms of Fortnite, new game modes, new content, new vehicles, weapons, whatever they're adding nowadays. It must be hard sometimes to actually create all that stuff. And I imagine just hours and hours are poured into it. And resources.
Because I tried to think of this with an MMO perspective. And even for most MMOs, right? I mean, there's free content updates for games. But traditionally, it's still the expansion model, right? So you're still sort of on that crunch when that deadline's coming up. But for a game like Apex Legends, for a game like Fortnite, PUBG, right? When right, they have roadmaps and whatnot, so I guess they have deadlines. But how do you manage that crunch for an online game or an ongoing service game?
I don't know what to say. I was like gonna say it's kind of like working at a job like mine, but maybe not.
That's true, because there's not like deadlines, right? Like you're a website that goes and goes, right?
Yeah, like we do have the pressure to add in stuff, but we don't have strict deadlines. I think that's where it really comes into play. Yeah,
because you in the video game industry, you have like certain windows you also have to hit, because obviously you have to consider what other people are bringing out at the same time. So you don't want to release something when someone else is releasing like some huge game that's a like almost direct competitor to yours. Because your revenue stream is going to be really bad for that thing you're putting out.
Yeah. And versus like a website, right? Like in a game, content is direct. It's like, it's direct. What am I looking for? Like a purchasable good versus, right? Like if you work at Facebook and, I added this new messaging feature, that doesn't really add revenue directly. I mean, it keeps your user base, like, keep coming to your site, which I guess indirectly adds revenue, but like, if you're making a new skin, right, or you're making a new weapon, it's a little different.
Yeah, you have players who are just super hardcore, playing for like probably 10 hours plus a day, You know, you gotta create content fast enough for them to keep enjoying the game. Otherwise, they're gonna stop giving you money, basically, or just stop playing.
Exactly.
And I think that also goes back into kind of the marketing factor.
Mm-hmm.
I know, you know, when Alex and I are watching the Final Fantasy live letters or something, we get really excited about whatever they announce. But sometimes the fact that they announce something creates a lot more pressure as well. For instance, the world visiting system in FF14, like that was known for a long time and they weren't releasing it. So people were getting angry and it finally came out, but it ended up breaking a bunch of servers.
It broke things at first, but it works pretty slick now.
It works better now. I heard there are issues with trying to get back to your home world. Sometimes it just gets stuck and you're kind of stuck in a different server for about an hour.
You're stuck as a wanderer forever.
So I feel like these type of marketing things, I know Fortnite does really good marketing and kind of previews for what they're going to release. And I'm sure that adds a lot more pressure.
Do you guys think that roadmaps are almost... roadmaps are a weird thing, right? They create transparency between the developers and the community on what's coming. But I feel that also makes deadlines, right? If you're telling them, hey, we're like Battlefield, right? We're releasing a new map and a game mode in June, right? Obviously, not specific enough that it has to be the first day of June. You could release it on the last day of June. Your player base probably wouldn't like that.
June 2020.
Yeah. We didn't say what year was on the top, guys, okay? But do you think that roadmaps are probably to the, I don't want to say like discomfort, but sort of disadvantageous to the developer because now they've sort of promised a time frame on things?
It can, possibly part of time, but also it kind of creates certain commitments from you as the developer for the consumer. So that creates a pressure in itself that you need to deliver content that they'll actually meet their expectation.
As a person working in software, and I mean, you do as well, Albert, like, when we do planning, we try to do it as best as possible, you know, knowing how much resources we'll get, but everything always just kind of slips due to whatever reason. So, and I don't know about you, but at my place, we never ever do road mapping for an entire year. That's like, I feel like that's impossible almost.
Yeah, I don't think you should do a whole annual roadmap. That sounds like a terrible plan.
Most roadmaps I've seen are like 3 to 4 months. Usually they try to do a quarterly roadmap at the longest, right?
Yeah.
And then there's
then maybe a couple like stretch goals they have. Maybe a sneak preview.
It's like a Kickstarter.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. It's kind of like, hey, we kind of have this thing planned maybe later on. It's just kind of an infancy thing.
And it's kind of weird, right? Because it's sort of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation where you see companies like Epic with Fortnite and people still complain about, or maybe like Apex is maybe a probably better example, where like not enough content, right? Not enough content. Wah. Give us a roadmap. Wah. And then you see companies like Valve, right? CSGO, TF2, Dota 2, very huge games out in the PC market. And they never say anything about when something big is coming out. And, I mean, people complain, I guess, where's the next hero? But they know that that Valve's sort of like it'll be here when it's ready. And so, honestly, I think you don't see that too much with their games. Because they just know that Valve's infamous for not, like...
I mean, give Dire Tide as a meme. It's not an actual movement.
I was gonna say, like, Valve's not really known for PR in the first place that well, but, like, people don't really ask them for anything. They're just like, it's coming. They're very patient with Valve games. Which...
Most of the time, but, you know, sometimes the Dota community, they're like, hey, man, this meta's getting extremely stale. We're really needing a patch route right now. And Dire Tide.
I think the two things that bother me is, at least from Polygon's article, is that one... It seems like a lot of the pressure and potential consequences go to the leaf nodes of the organization, like the contractors and like the junior full-time staff, like they're feeling the most pressure and they are the ones that are being punished, which doesn't seem fair. Like I don't know how they split their teams at Epic, but let's say there was like a weapons team at Fortnite, and they can't deliver something. I feel like the manager or like the producer should be on the hook rather than firing the contractors that are working on the actual dev part. So I feel like that was a little iffy to me. And the second part is I just don't think that they were prepared for the explosive growth that they had when they launched. And it kind of shows because it sounds like they're dealing with like just issues all the time. So like even if you show them your roadmap, if you're spending 80% of the time fixing bugs, then you're never going to build anything.
Cough Battlefield. Cough Battlefield.
But yeah, that first point was the one that bothered me a little more. Because that just means whoever is running the teams there are not going to change, and this is just going to keep going.
Right. I think that's a recurring theme kind of the video game industry. We hear stories of like QA getting stiffed when when problems arise in video games, they ask for something and then management just gets rid of them basically. So I guess they're just seen as easily replaced resource, and they have no protections basically. They'll just get removed if you raise up any voice. And that's come from multiple studios.
Yeah, and honestly, like, it's a lose-lose situation for the developer because, like, you can't blame players for wanting content, and those who do want content in the gaming industry, or, like, for video games in general, if there's a game that's not producing content, hey, they'll just find a new game, right? So it's just always an uphill battle for the developer.
Yeah, that's definitely become the new norm for the industry is, you just have to keep that content coming. After release, it doesn't stop there anymore.
I don't know if you saw Respawn's kind of not response.
I did. I was going to bring that up and how they sort of took a break, right?
Yeah.
After they launched Epic or Epic. After they launched a company that made Fortnite. No, after they launched Apex. They sort of took the reverse, which is interesting.
Yeah, and they're like not changing their release schedule. They're keeping it seasonal. Basically, they're not reacting to the growth, which maybe has its other issues too, because I heard Apex is kind of declining.
They've been declining. Mm-hmm.
But, at least people aren't like dying in your office.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. I feel that they have a large enough player base either way that they're like, you know what, honestly, and based on like how the approach of Respawn and how they've like, they pair cheaters together and stuff when they get caught hacking and things like that, they're kind of like, if you're going to whine and complain about our game that's not getting enough content, honestly, we don't want you as a player, right? Like, they're not going to crumble to that pressure, I feel like.
Right. Because ultimately, a lot of players will just never be satisfied no matter how much you release.
Yep.
So exactly. you might as well take a pace that you can actually meet and be happy at the end of the day.
Exactly. And not have people dying in your office like Tristan said.
No, that article was heartbreaking. They're like, people were crying.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
And it kind of like, I don't know, there's real, like, past year, man, we got, like, what was it? I mean, rumored from Rockstar, right? With Red Dead 2 on that crunch. We got that League of Legends stuff. Not exactly crunch time, but like sexual harassment, right? All that stuff that came out. Now we got Epic having big problems. It's there's a reason that like a lot of game developers say like don't come into this industry. There seems to be a lot of questionable practices at a lot of these development studios, or at least like a lot of crunch time, which I mean obviously a lot of other places like non-gaming stuff have, but
why not just hire 2 people? Divide the 100 hour into 50.
The mythical man hour, right?
Yeah.
Good book, by the way. All right. I'll just bring this up quick. We always talk about how PUBG's sort of falling down. I mean, it's obviously got a huge player base still. A lot of people still play the game. But we got some PUBG Corp 2018 revenue stats. So we had $920 million of revenue and then $310 million of profit, which I was like, holy crap, this this game is still making a lot of money. So interesting that even though like PUBG's not the king of the hill of PUBG games, and no, that wasn't supposed to be that was supposed to be a pun on H1Z1 King of the Kill. But what is next for PUBG? That's the question I have. Or PUBG Corp, I guess, which is weird because their company's named after their game. So I mean, can they make new games? It's a blue hole.
Didn't PlayerUnknown recently leave the company?
He did. Yeah. But that was quite a while ago, I want to say. I want to say early last year. Or like summer last year? Maybe not that long ago.
I thought I saw it recently, but maybe not.
No, it was last month.
You're thinking of Cliff Belinsky.
He's not making any games.
I can understand why you'd mistake him.
Yeah, he tweeted it just last month. I mean, he didn't leave like PUBG Corp. He left the game, but he's staying at the company. He's working on something new.
Oh, okay.
What is next for PUBG Corp? Like, new game? Like, how long can you keep a game going? I mean, League obviously has proven you can keep a game going for a long time, but
they're at the top of the chart.
Exactly, and I feel like a MOBA game is easier to like a new gun. Right? How long can new guns and new maps keep people playing? Right. If Call of Duty was suddenly like, this is the last Call of Duty, we're just going to make it an ongoing service now.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it would last very long, especially because PUBG just has. I guess they have 2 game modes right now. They have a deathmatch game mode, right? Too.
I don't know.
I haven't kept up with PUBG game modes in a long time.
Does he even run properly, or is it still?
Yeah, it runs a lot better now. I heard.
Got it. I honestly don't know what they could do. I'm a little surprised that Apex didn't just completely take over and kill PUBG, but at this point, maybe add more maps? Question mark.
What about if they just make a new console? Just like that one company. I forget that company that's making a console.
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy's not a... No, there's a game developer studio.
Yeah, the racing
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Performance mode.
They're gonna make PUBG console.
Here's the thing. I feel like with MOBAs, it's like you can just add more heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
PUBG, you can't just add more maps. I guess you could.
I mean, you can, but at what point does like a new champion? Sorry, we'll do league terms, right? Has like it changes the game immensely, right? In terms of the mechanics and everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously you can say, oh, a map, this one's on a skyscraper. Oh boy. Like, how long can you keep people engaged in that, right?
I don't know. We'll just have to see. We're literally watching history unfold.
I think we are, because you think of if games could do that right now, right? If Battlefield 4 could have just kept making maps, right, and kept it as an ongoing service, I think someone would have already done it, because that's cheaper, I think, than making a new game, right? So I think PUBG.
Guess? No, Fortnite, you don't get that $60 injection.
Yeah, it's potentially. It depends on what you're selling as your side.
Well, I mean, if you're selling like cosmetics and stuff like that, like, or if you have like a microtransactions,
paid service subscription or something, Battle Pass, but.
I guess, I guess you could look at games like Counter-Strike, where even you could say like, oh, well, that Counter-Strike 1.6 never got updates for like a decade, and like bunches of people still played that. But I think just with the audience that are playing PUBG.
Also, it was like 1990s. Come on.
there were
like 3 games.
There was Quake, and there was
Pong, and then CS 1.6. Come on.
Yeah.
And then Unreal Tournament in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And Team Fortress, the classic one.
There you go. So I don't know. I feel like it is like it. You're kind of correct, Tristan. And this is like a science experiment. We're like gonna see how long a battle royale or a shooter can go on as a live service.
H1Z1. How long did that one last?
Is that dead already? I can't.
It's getting close to dead.
Initial release February 2018. Okay, so we.
Yeah, it was in quote unquote beta for like
early access for like years.
Early access,
yeah. Alrighty, that's enough of Royale News Network right here. Let's, last story of the day. Always gotta end with a memer, right? A little meme boy.
Memer.
We got Sonic movie coming out.
Oh, man.
Ooh, boy.
Oh, no. All right, first of all, impromptu Twitter correspondent Tristan Jung.
Hello.
We did a poll of our user. Oh, nah, that's for you to
did.
say. Why am I saying you're lying? So, we have a Sonic movie coming out, and we have a Pikachu movie coming out, Detective Pikachu. Can you give us the results of when we asked our users what they thought they were, or not what they thought, but what they were going to watch?
Hello. It's Twitter correspondent Tristan Jung. Twitter correspondent? I think I did it backwards. I'm reporting here from Twitter.com. We asked our viewers, if you had to pick one, which live-action video game movie would you watch? And overwhelming 91% of people said they would watch Detective Pikachu over Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh boy.
The poor souls.
Who's that 10%?
The poor souls.
I want an AMA with the 9%. I want to ask them questions about their life.
I
Why?
think Sonic the Hedgehog will be better than Detective Pikachu. AMA.
Oh man. Guys, I thought we'd reached a new pinnacle, right? I think Detective Pikachu, I think it's going to be all right. I think it's going to do well box office wise.
I think it's
don't know
going to
about
be
ratings.
great.
Oh, yeah,
I think it's
it's
going to be great.
Well, I don't think the movie critics who are going to watch it have played like a lot of Pokemon games, but I think in terms of the first video game movie to actually like make fans actually happy.
I think the point of the Detective Pikachu movie is that you don't need to watch the anime or play the games because it's like a completely separate story.
That's true. But like you're not going to know any of the Pokemon, right? Like they're going to make a Mr. Mime joke, right? And only people who know what Mr. Mime is are going to realize. Otherwise it's going to like looks like some weird back alley stalker dude. So
That's what Mr. Mime is pretty much, to be honest.
Basically. He got with Ash's
maybe
mom.
that's humor in itself. Yeah, like what do you guys think? Like everyone when they saw the Pikachu, very mixed reactions from Detective Pikachu.
Uh-huh.
But I think the general consensus is just
And then these guys were like, wow, you think that looks ugly.
No, I think the issue is that with Pikachu, he was just furry, but it still looked like Pikachu.
Yeah.
This thing...
the face is just off.
This thing.
What? What are you?
And, alright, I just gotta mention it. Gangster's Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
What was the context of using that song in this
Dude.
trailer?
Sonic's a G, man.
I don't,
He's a total G.
I
That was
don't know,
trending
man.
on Twitter today.
What, Gangster's Paradise?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
man. All right. We'll cut it short there. Oh, no.
Are you gonna watch it, yes or no?
When does it come out?
November?
All right.
Yeah, November.
All right.
Remembrance Day for Sonic franchise.
Alrighty, that wraps it up for this episode 26 of Viewport Relay. Viewport Relay is available on Radio Public, iTunes, Google Music, Stitcher, Podbean, and all your favorite podcast directories. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, review, and share it with your friends. We're also on social media as Viewport Gaming on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. But Alex, why Viewport Gaming?
Well, Viewport Relay is a part of Viewport Gaming, a website where you can find reviews, this podcast, and other features all about your favorite video game topics. You can check us out at viewportgaming.com.
Thanks, Alex. And as always, I've been your host, Albert Corsten, joined by Tristan Jung
Goodbye.
and Alex Nestor.
Gotta go fast.
We'll see you next time.